I'm Brad Van Horn. I'm an office coordinator at Independence. I'm 29 years old. You told me 10 years ago that I would be an office coordinator at a major high school in Charlotte. I probably told you you were crazy. I started out at Richlands for 2 years, and then went to Aiden and coached with Paul for a year, and then went to West Ireland on Duke Conference. So it's been a road everywhere I've been. And one of the best pieces of advice, that I got when I was coming up was our youth coordinator, Aiden. Boyd Pearson told me one time, he's like, go as many places as you can and coach it with as many coaches as possible. Because what you're going to do during that process is you're going to find out what this coach does that you like, what he does that you don't like, what this coach does that you like, and you're going to develop your own philosophy. And so doing that, I've been very blessed to work with very fortunate people, and I think time was everything. So what we're going through is, when we were at Richlands, I went to New Conner High School, I played for Nick Basil, we ran the triple, I was lineman out there, receiver, we could make one pass a game. It was real fun. So we kind of took those triple option principles and kind of adapted that to our passing game and the spread. And it was a process. We started out, we were under center flex on triple tech status, and then we went to the pistol. Because when you run a triple, when you got that offset back, everybody knows which way you're diving. That's the way he's going. So we went to the pistol, tried to stay balanced, and then eventually we upgraded to counter. So Coach Kiefer talked about counter. But that's our base run. That's what we are. Just a little bit about me. I'm entering my 9th year of coaching, 3rd year at Independence. I set the school record at West Ireland for points per game and points of the season in 2014. My first 3 years coaching, obviously, we're in Eastern Tennessee, like we talked about. And then I graduated from New Conner and also East Carolina. So this is a little bit of a makeup about our offense, kind of where we hang our roots or our principles at. We are an RPO team. We kind of base ourselves on being outside the box. We like to do things that not everybody does and try to be different. I think that's a really big thing. Kind of like what Coach Kiefer was talking about, running the double tight end set. I think that stuff's making a comeback. If you look in Charlotte, the Porter Ridges of the world and people like that, they do things because the defenses have caught up to the spread. When you run those hard-nosed offenses, it's really hard for people to prepare and adjust for them, especially, 10 games out of the season, you're playing the spread. People are pretty adaptive and well at defending the spread. So in the offseason, everybody's dedicated to the option and how we're going to sit here and install our defense to stop these offenses. So I think it does benefit you to be different. Our whole thing went to a clinic in Michigan. It's called the greatest clinic on earth. It was Jim Harbaugh. We brought the Brady staff in, and he just talked about pushing the envelope. When they were doing the travel camps and things like that, that's kind of who we are. We want people to make a rule about us. So we're going to do everything we can to flirt with that line and stay in the area of grade without going over the line. And I'll talk a little bit about that later. Obviously, our base run is counter. I talked about thinking outside the box. We are a vertical team. We like to push the rock vertically. We like to 3-step drop. We change up the way we do our pass pro. That's big for us. And then obviously tempo is huge. I don't know if you can see that right there, but it's huge for us. So obviously we talk about balance. Everybody wants to talk about balance. I think Mike Leach made a statement about this a few weeks back. Balance isn't necessarily 50-50 or anything like that. It's all about getting your players the ball and getting it evenly spread out. So what that looks like for us is this is one of our game day charts. We have somebody in the box that's sitting there charting who's getting their touches. And a lot of times it's dictated by defense. Being an RPO team, we don't get to sit here and say, well, we're going to throw the ball here, we're going to run the ball here, this is what we're going to do. We just kind of react to what the defense does. And everything we do is post-snap. Being a triple option team, the only thing we do pre-snap is we look is, is the middle open or close. We've got one hot safety, we've got 2 hot safeties. And then we go to the corner. Is the corner a man or is he in zone? Can't really talk about the corner, let's look at the outside backer. Is he manning up the slot or is he coming in off that edge? So that's just kind of how we go through the process for our quarterbacks. This is our balance by receptions for the year. Obviously, you see the discrepancy between our X and Z receiver. Those guys are a little bit lower than our slots. That's just the nature of the beast. Our slots get the ball more than our outside guys. It just is what it is. We kind of changed up our password this year to get our running back out when nobody was coming. That kind of helped us out a lot, too. It allowed us to improvise. By the way, I didn't know if I mentioned, this is our line coach, Wes Strayer. Obviously, he's doing me a great deal. Coming and helping us out today. I'm lucky. Again, we work with some great people. And he's done an excellent job of getting us prepared in how we approach our pass pro. So this is what it looks like. So this is our call sheet, crazy. And that's over like 6 years, we got our built-in what we like to do. And I'll kind of talk about how we approach the play calling process. But, all this stuff looks great on paper. And then you look at guys like Coach Leach and people like that, and they're calling off that. So how do we go from that and get it condensed down to what we want to do? And so I kind of played with it, kind of tweaked it, and this is what we came up with. This was how we were able to incorporate that touch chart I showed 2 slides ago, boom, into our play column chart. All right? And so I spent all this time how we were going to do it, kind of how we can marry it up. So right here, we've got our 4 deeps. Obviously, we talked about our vertical game. We want to push the rock down the field. How can we do that with a variation or a tag and make it look the same as Kentucky or our counter or our middle screen? So I put all this time and effort in to getting it ready for a game, and then we get in the game, and the first 2 plays, our X and our Z go down with ankle injuries. Boom, game plan out the window, what you going to do? So that's just kind of the nature of the beast and always being prepared, and it doesn't always work out like you'd like. I kind of got back to the old school triple way of scripting plays, right, to keep me on pace. You know, you get in the game and things start going left and right, and you're like, man, and then you get to the end of the game, you're like, man, why did we run this, why did we run that? So I found that actually did help us in a lot of ways, staying with the overall big picture. Going back to the clinic that I talked about, push the envelope. We want people to make a rule about us. And so, you know, in Eastern NC and most small towns, you know, you guys are lucky because you guys own your middle schools. And what I mean by that is your middle schools aren't split between your high schools for the most part. So you can get in there, you can recruit your middle schools, you know, and have blocks done in a couple programs. But, you know, you do your middle school sign day, right? You get the kids excited about coming to play for you at the high school. Well, we did that in Charlotte, and we're getting a call from Hugh Tucker for illegally recruiting through undue influence. So, because our middle schools are split between high schools, you know, it's a little bit different dynamic. And, you know, just the Charlotte people are quick to turn you in. So, for us, you know, it was like, man, we can't do anything. They won't let us be great. But at the same point in time, like, man, we must be really making some noise because people are worried about us. So when you're at the bottom of the barrel, people don't care what you do. But when you start opening up, people start paying attention. So going back to the satellite camps, you know, this is just kind of our philosophy in everything we do. We want to push the envelope, get it as close as we can to the grade without flirting with it. So I went to a camp. I want to give you guys something that you can learn today. I'm not going to sit here and talk about sail and mesh and all this crazy stuff. You know, I coach in Eastern NC. You know, I know running the rock is the primary thing that we do. But so I sat in a clinic a couple years ago, same thing that we talked about. A man, Chris Forrester, was up there, and he went for 20 minutes to just talk about his resume and all these guys that he coached. Well, you know, if you're coaching the NFL, I hope you coach some studs. So that was 20 minutes of his presentation, got nothing out of it, and then, you know, 6 months later, he's getting arrested for, you know, doing cocaine and getting up sugar. So it is what it is, but basically, you know, I want you guys to get something that you can use. I know not everybody's 5 wide, not everybody's throwing the ball 60 times a game, but I want you to get something from this presentation that can apply to you. So we're going to kind of hit this overall broad picture. So we got our tempo actually from Richard Bailey at Scotland County. So that's where it came from. We went and met with him. We actually use a lot of the same terminology. You know, obviously everything kind of evolves. So, and the way we call it is a little bit different, but it has its roots here in Eastern NC. So we have 5 tempos to our no huddle. Right? The first tempo is obviously our base. And I'll kind of explain on the next slide, but what base is, you know, we call it a play. Offense lines up. They sit there and they look to the side, right? Do we like as a staff? If we do, let's shop it in. If not, let's check out. Right? That's our play. That's the tempo we're moving with unless we dictate that we're going any other tempo. Right? So that's the QB check. And the way we do our line calls is we do two line calls. Right? So we'll do a first call, second call. So we'll be like Kentucky right, Texas left, Kentucky right, Texas left. We'll say it twice. Right? At any point in time in the game, if we feel like they're picking up on our sounds or picking up on our calls, this, that, or the other, we can throw our hand over our head or a signal or anything that we want to do, and we can change it to first call, mid-drive. So if we think they're taking, we go first call, and then switch it back to second call. Go Tuesday. So that kind of helped us because, you know, so when we first started out here at Eastern NC, we were a baseball system, right? We'd be sitting here, touch our, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but evens were the right side, odds were the middle. And that was great for the run game. You know, when we were a triple option, boom, boom, boom. But when you start seeing these elaborate signals start coming out of people's hands, everybody's like, oh, it's a pass. You know, and so we kind of tried to change the way that we did that. Our next one is cheetah. Obviously, we're calling cheetah, boom, we're calling the play, we're getting line, we're getting set. We yell at our linemen all the time. And cheetah, you're getting your hand down in the dirt, we're trying to go fast. And I think it helps us, and I've got some clips from the Olympic game. When you practice fast and you play fast, it carries over to the game. Everything you do, you know, we're trying to go fast. When you look at the weight room, we're supersetting everything. We're taking that no huddle, no mercy approach to the weight room. We're taking it to the field. We're taking it everywhere we go. We want to get as many reps as we can. Indy, obviously everybody's got Indy. It's a freeze count. I would highly suggest, you know, picking categories for your freeze count. That way, you know. So for ours is Indy, we can go Jeff Gordon, we can go Danica Patrick, we can do anything like that. And as long as we stay within that category, our alignment doesn't knock together, obviously. I think it's the best on-two that you possibly can have, just because there's no play. Who are you firing off the block? You line them off. I mean, there's an issue. Who are you going to block? Like, it's a play within itself. Mustang. Obviously, Mustang's on two. You know, you get that from the triple option guys. Paul Johnson and Georgia Tech, what they do is they send the guy in motion, boom, the defense adjusted, and they check the play. If not, boom, you just go reset and they run the play that they wanted to. So it's on, and you want it to look like Indy, but you're essentially going to run two. And it's funny, we were playing Asheville 2 years ago, and it kind of happened. We were back up on our own 3-yard line. It was 4th and maybe a yard, and we had one timeout left. We were just trying to get a jump. Right? So we call our freeze count. They didn't jump. Coach was like, "What do we do?" I was like, "Let's run it again." It's like, okay, freeze count again. We call freeze count again. Our center snaps the ball. It worked out in genius because it allowed us the first time to win the game. But what happens is when you sit there and you go Mustang and you set hike and nobody moves, what's the defense saying? Oh, it's freeze count. They're not snapping the ball. And then we snap the ball. Luckily, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good and good and right. And it worked out. So obviously, this is everything on this slide that I just explained to you guys. Obviously, if you got more questions about that, I can kind of clarify it up. And obviously, you can go any way that you want with this. It's not set in stone like this is the way it has to be done. But that's just what we do. So, going back to the playing fast, right? So, to give you a little backdrop, we had some issues that happened. This has been the craziest season I've ever been involved in. And so, this is the final drop in the Olympic. They scored 55 seconds ago to take the lead. So, this is in the first play, we get a 5-yard penalty. So, boom, it's 1st and 15. Incomplete pass. Boom. I mean, it's just adversity after adversity. And we're trying to win the game, obviously. And it just goes back. This defense was gassed, and I'm telling you, when we play people in Charlotte, everybody in Charlotte has a D1 kid on their team. Everybody, except for us. So we kind of adjust what we have to do. But that was the biggest play. 3rd and 15, the back shoulder fade, and then boom, we instantly know we want to go smash, boom, get back out of bounds. But again, you know, when you practice fast, when you play fast, there's all this chaos going on. It makes it real easy when these game-like situations happen. Try to take our back shoulder fade shot. He missed, but look how fast the camera can't even keep up. That's how fast we're snapping. Right, and so we go right back to the well. It is what it is, but you know, I think when you project comments, we scored 34 seconds, and when we tried to get the game away, they got back to the 20 on the kickoff. So we almost lost. But it really helps. So everything we do, we're based around RPOs. You know, we're first level, we're second level, and the first level for us is just the extension of the triple option game. I mean, that's all it is. So what we do and the way we marry it up is pass strength, run strength, right? And that's what defensive coordinators do. We're gonna set our we're gonna set our run strength here, take away the run, and we're gonna call our split coverage over here to take away the pass. So what we do is we sit there and we look at what runs we like, all right? We call the run we like, and then we marry the pass play with it. And again, it just depends on, you know, anything on our first level RPO, it's always a 5 read. You know, we're reading the 5 technique. So, again, pass strength, run strength concept. You know, we just figure out what do we like, right? What's the defense in? So, prime example, Dutch Fork runs a reduction 50, all right? Like Coach Steve was talking about, they're sitting there, they're 0, they got 4s, and they're bringing a reducer off point in that's basically turned into an even front. And behind it, you can always tell what they're doing. Really good at what they do, and maybe just because we weren't very good, so they didn't have to scheme us very well. But if that corner was deep, they were staying in cover 6 that side, and if that safety was shallow, or the corner was up, they were rolling cover 6. So and they would sit there, you know, cover 4 on one side, cover 2 into the boundary that the reduction was coming from, and then play straight up cover 3. So we knew pre-snap what we were getting. And based on that, that allowed us to do some things, obviously, in the RPO game, because we know what our cover 3 leaders are, you know what your cover 2 leaders are. I mean, and you're basically just getting the best of both worlds. And so this is what we kind of got to. Kind of talk about those other the sheets as far as, you know, the big elaborate play call sheets. This is what we got to. We knew what runs we wanted to run. We knew which way we wanted to run it. We knew which guards we didn't want to pull because they were having trouble with a certain DN. And it just kind of put us in a better position to get the calls that we wanted. We didn't have to sit here and look at, you know, what is it? Paralysis by analysis when you get all this stuff. So it kind of got our focus narrowed in on what we wanted to do. And so obviously this is our 4 base runs. When I was at Newton, we sat there, our tackle trap and tackle our dart, we sat there and we read it. And so what would happen is we come up to the line, let our line would line up, if we had the shade to that side, we knew that it was dark, we were pulling up inside because it gave us the angle to block. We'd sit there, we'd block down on the shade or the 2-eye, we'd turn out with 5, the tackle would pull up in the hole. And if we had a 3 that we had to double team on, we get a long, long, long call, tackle would sit there and pull, and we'd track the 5. Andy, we don't do that. We sit there, we call it for our guys, we kind of help them out. Our best line is our left tackle, so we obviously like running a lot of dart. Our center, has some issues. He's not the best moving guy in the world. So when we run our counters and our gap scheme away to the shade, sometimes he has trouble getting back on that 3. And when he's sitting there making blocks downfield and getting after it, I'm loving it. Like, that's my guy. And, when he can't block back on the shade or get just killed, that's Coach Strader's center. That's not my guy. That's his fault. And if we're really getting deep, then it's the head coach's fault because they're not looking for the way back. Just kidding. So here's our first level clips. You'll kind of see what we do. You might see some tackles blocking some safeties downfield. It's the nature of the beast. We don't get called for it. There's your tackle right there, Mom.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so that's what we do. Obviously, we really have to coach this. We do the board option every day in practice. We just kind of, we're not cool pitching it, but we're reading next level. And then that just involves coaches being out there, being the read keys, simulating that in practice. So everything, all these we're pulling, we're reading that 5 technique, we're getting outside, boom, squeeze, and then we run. So again, if we know it's man, we're probably going to have some kind of slant concept on the backside. The really good man beaters are your screen and goes. So we might have screen and go tied in with our run. It's not just straight screen and go. If we get a pull, we got to find a way to get past this man. And I'll give you a hint. When we got into Charlotte, when you play teams that have better athletes than you, what are they going to do? They're going to go man. And when people tell you about all this RPO stuff, it's great, and they're like, yeah, do this and do that, but they don't tell you how it can mess you up. And what they do is they come out and they play soft man. So they allow those corners to get space on you so they can cheat, right? You're not in their bubble, so they can peek in the backfield and they see run, boom, they're coming out of man and they're in zone instantly. So it just changed a whole nother wrinkle. That's obviously really good. That's against Butler, obviously, Keon, and they got dudes. Look at our slots, we ain't got dudes. So that's kind of where we're at. But the man is huge. Everybody's going to man. And we put some of the biggest numbers in games in Charlotte in the last 20 years. I think we had a receiver at the 9th best game in Mecklenburg County history. Another one that had the 20th. And our quarterback was the 20th quarterback to throw 6 touchdowns in a game. But we're doing it with lesser talent. I feel you guys. Some of you guys are like, we don't have the studs, we don't have the big dogs, we don't need them. And it's tough, and everybody you're playing does. So that's one of the reasons we went to this offense. Obviously, it helped us out. We couldn't maul anybody from line of scrimmage. I'm sorry. And here, that's it. Yeah. So this is a really good one. This is our snake wheel. Obviously, they're playing man. We get a full reverse West Mac, and then the wheel right down the sideline. One thing that we do that's unique is we rep it every day. When we're sitting there on the board drill, we're sitting there running it, we really rep our running backs to give stay calls. Obviously when you go to these places and stuff, they tell you, stay on the double team, stay on the double team, stay on the double team, sit there working sideways, so the line judge or the back judge is calling, it's not calling you downfield, they're getting pushed horizontally versus vertically. But we sit there and we kill it, stay calls. Our running back coach, that's all he does every time. So every time we get a pull, stay. Our linemen, they're on their blocks, boom. I don't know, we might back up a few feet. Just anything we can to milk the process and give ourselves an advantage. And the first year nobody said anything. Second year, words got out before every game. Officials were coming up to us, make sure you guys aren't downfield. So it is what it is. This is our second level. Obviously, you can do without a spread. Everybody knows you can block the tackle. Fold, the double fold is the 3-4 beater. Everybody loves that. And then if you get the H in the game, you can protect it. So going back, you can run counter each way. Ideally, you want to get it to where your quarterback can evolve. So we have so much stuff, we're going so fast. We stopped calling directions, we just started checking. And basically giving the quarterback the built-in audible, because we wanted to make sure that we were running it to the 3, because if we run it to the shade, our center was going to have trouble. And so what we could do is we could sit there and we could call our counter, however we want to call it, we check counter. And then we would sit there and we'd have an RPO. And so that's fine for our receivers. Everybody can understand that when we're in spread. Down here in 10 personnel, you just see which side the running back's on. Okay, he's on my side. I got the routes. Everybody else is blocking. And you get 2 back in there, you get H back in there. starts getting confusing who's got the arc. So what it allowed us to do was we could sit there and line up twins over here, single over here, and we had our H and boundary. We'd make sure we had our counter called the right way. And if we hadn't needed to arc into the single receiver side, we could do that. And we could still have our snag back to the twins. So obviously our snag, we're sitting here, we're reading our inside backers. It's really ideal versus the 3-4 right. You want those 20 backers. Read your guards, read your guards, read your guards. So it helps us get those influence pulls. And then our spot is against the 3-4. You know, again, reduction 50. Those outside backers are trying to be half man. They're trying to get their nose in the box. And if they're coming downhill, we're pulling, we're throwing, and replacing immediately. So here's our double fold against Dutch Fork. Again, they had dudes, they won the state championship again this year. And this is just kind of what we're working with. But we hold both tackles up, keep them coming inside, boom. And we're gone. And several D1 players on that defense. And we had that kid right there is a D2 player. That's too much conflict. So, and that's just kind of how we're trying to compensate for what we're doing. There's your read right there. So 20 back right, he's over the guard, but open gap, he fills, pull up, boom. Now what I want you to do is, so see, they roll cover 3. Pay attention to that safety, because what defensive coordinators are going to start doing is they're going to start robbing you. And what that means is they're going to sit there, they're going to blitz that back or give you the illusion that it's a pull and throw, and that safety's going to rock down and rob it at the last minute, which is fine. Because if that happens, and we're going to run past them, and our quarterback's going to take an extra hitch, and there's going to be nobody. Sorry. You go back. All right, so here's our double fold snag against Rock River again, 3-4. Again, another team with much better athletes than us. Jalen Sharp, that kid right there that came up, is a stud linebacker. I'm not sure, he might be committed to us, I'm not 100% sure. But same thing, he fills, our slot wins inside leverage. You see the guy coming from the boundary up top, trying to get his nose in, trying to be a half man. And it's a really simple read for our quarterback. Boom, pull, throw, and then we're off to the races. Oh, sorry. All right, zone read, blocking the tackle. So there's like 10 clips on here, and you're going to start seeing those man robbing. Once the word gets out on what you do, there's no secrets. So here we go. Our 3's our best guy. See, that was a rob, and he came down quick. And luckily, he was able to hold on. But we make so much money because our lineman can't block. It allows us to stay on our combos. It allows us to solid up. And if he drops off, we're good. We can handle the box. If they come, we're not winning the waiver battle. The amount of turnover that we had, we had 5 coaches in 4 years. And somewhere like Charlotte, the players just get coached year after year. All right, you had a good year. All right, another pretty tough. Let's go. And that's just kind of the nature of the beast and how it works. So now that we've finally been able to keep our kids, we really like where we're at. So right here, that's not it. It's the H. But the same concept, we're just sitting there reading fills. You just got to get that safety across his face. And he sets a great natural pick. All you guys are wondering. And here we go again, umpire. And, we're splitting safeties. And we'll talk about our 4 deep game here in a minute, kind of how we read it. But this has been a huge play for us. But at the same time, you got to be able to live and die by that. And what I mean is, so there was a situation with me and the head coach. There you go. That's a great pick by the umpire. And that's just Butler, It's dudes everywhere. Yep. So there's your read. He's coming, we're pulling, we're throwing. Same thing, back to Phil's. It's the same play over and over again. But what I was saying is you've got to be able to live and die with it. And what I mean is we got to the 1 yard line. It was first down and goal. And our coach was like, all right, what do you want? I was like, let's run the rock. And he's like, okay. First down, boom, no yards. Second down, boom, no yards. Third down, boom, no yards. And one of the things that we do is we like to jump back from blocking the tackle to actual inside zone, because you get down there to the goal line, everybody's pitching, your quarterback pulls and keeps walking in. And so we had snag on, and 1 yard we pull it, we throw it, receiver drops it in the end zone, fourth down, and it's just one of those things. When I was at Aiden, we were sitting there, we were trying to incorporate snag on the backside of Buck Sweep. And I forget we were at a scrimmage, I forget where we were at. And the read was, the guy fielded, and the quarterback pulled it and threw it, and we missed it incomplete. And then Coach Cornwell's over here cussing me out, cussing our quarterback out, because the running back's walking in the end zone. We got both guards in there. I mean, it's a party in the end zone. And we pulled it and threw it for an incompletion, and we lost. So, good news is it was a scrimmage, but you have to be willing to invest time and put effort and energy into this. And if this is what you're going to do, you got to live and die by it. It's just like basketball. If you live by 3, you're going to die by 3. Again, talking about being unique, pushing the envelope. One thing we do is we run quints. All right, we put 5 receivers on one side of the field. It's not, it's a little taboo, but when you incorporate that with tempo and there's clips from Hopewell, there's guys on the other side of the field. You jump and put 5 guys over here. You got a corner, you got an outside backer on the other side of the field. I still don't know who they're guarding. Like, what are you doing over there just guarding space? When you have a quarterback that can run, now we're talking about, all right, well, he's our running back. We did not have a quarterback that can run. So, you got your numbers advantage. You can catch and throw a screen. Also, we can throw our snag. We'll sit there and do it off draw. So what we'll do is we'll sit there and we'll 3-step drop. If he gets into his pass plane, our quarterback's going to run it and fill it. If he comes up, we're going to pull it and throw it. And this is our alignment. This is how we base it. It's just like our trips. Our 3 is 5 yards from the tackle for relationship for pitch. Our 2 splits the difference between our 3 and our Z. Our 4 is stacked behind our 2. And then X is our guy that's covered up and he's dead. He cannot do anything. And then so here's some of our points. Obviously, you see that corner up at the top. I have no idea what he's doing over there. He's chilling. Now they finally communicated the call. We still haven't snapped the ball. I don't know why. We're going to let them line up on us. It drives me crazy. But, okay. So this is kind of what we go through as far as getting a play in, how we check the play. You don't see a lot of tempo sometimes when you watch film. But boom, we're just outside our screen, line's blocking outside zone, we're just trying to get numbers in space. That's all it really is. And when you got a hat for a hat, obviously it gives you a chance to be successful. Same thing. And so we're getting quick on the cam because, we're going so fast. This is one of those games that we had in, I forget how many yards we threw for, maybe 320, but that receiver had like 225. So, when you do that, obviously, kind of opens things up. And then once we started doing this, we started getting schemed. And when you see the Olympic film, you didn't catch a corner standing out there to guard the grass anymore. It's like, once the secret's out, it's out. So here we go. Here's our snag. Obviously, get a great pick from the umpire as well. Look, we're dropping back. So our quarterback's sitting there, he's 3-step dropping, boom, we're still reading that backer. If he gets to his drop, then we're good. He fills, boom. And so now we have a vertical threat. Because that's the thing with points, like, how are you pushing the ball vertically when you have somebody that's covered up and you're one man less in protection? Obviously, that creates some issues. But if you can find a way to push the ball vertically, we feel that it's going to give you a chance to be successful. Again, quints. Again, if you're going to live with it, you got to die by it. We miss it by that much. But playing better athletes, that Sig does a great job of recovering. We're still 3-step dropping. So here's what's going on. So talk about the robbing. So when they schemed us, that play side safety, he's got nobody. He was all over that. And as soon as we pull him through, we want inside leverage. But this is game 3 that we've shown this formation. And, good DCs are not going to let you beat it. So you got to be ready for the wrinkles and the changes. Just like, start looping tackles versus 4 eyes in the triple option game. Exact same principle. So, verticals. All right, so this is the last off season. Again, being unique, doing something different. We spent some time with Patrick Taylor, who is the OC at North Surrey. He's a big air raid guy. And so what we ended up doing was we basically became the run and shoot. So we started reading our 4 birds, right? And because we had 4 verticals, then we had outside curls, then we had inside curls, and we wanted to figure out how can we bring the triple option approach? How can we run the same play and get 5 different results? Does that make sense? So we might call the same play over and over again. The air raid, they call it 6, and it's just like playing Madden. You're looking at leverage, you're sitting there, and we got a signal for every player on the field. If we want our outside left guy, we got our X. If we want our outside right guy, we got our Z. We got our 2. We got our 3. We got our 4. We got everybody. So we can move anybody however we want. We can call 4 deep and tell our outside guy to run a slant, and tell the 3 to run an out based on leverage. However we feel that we can get an advantage. And so when we get in trips, not reinventing the wheel, we sit here and when we get in trips, our quarterbacks are reading 3, 2, 1. We used to be old school, when you're flexible. This was our base play, right? You get one high safety because everybody's playing cover 3. You're sitting there, you're dropping, you're 5-step drop, and we're looking one way and we're coming back the other way. Looking off the safety. Well, when we get in trips, it kind of changes how we read that. So for our quarterback, he's sitting here reading the 3, the 2, and then we're going 1 on the outside. And so the 1 on the outside, he's reading leverage. All right? If that corner's got outside leverage, he's got the option to come back to a curl or come back on the sideline. If he's got inside, we got the curl. And then obviously, if we can take the top off, we're going to take the top off. We ask our slots literally, when are you open? When you're open, sit it down. That's what we want. We don't want to think. We just want it to be second nature. Another thing, when we start tagging, all right? What I mean by that is, so we talked about people play a lot of man against us. One of the things that we do is we'll tag this guy on a drag. When we do that, it's great. Anytime you tag one of these guys, like say, tagging him on the drag, or tagging him on the out or drag, or however you want to do it, what you're doing is you're allowing your 3, if the Z drags, you're allowing your 3 not only to hit that alley, he could potentially replace the Z where he came from. So now you're giving him 50 more yards of field to sit there and make somebody miss in space because we're trying to run grass, right? So with that being said, when we tag the drags, this 3, once he gets over the backers, he has to identify that corner. If that corner is running with him, boom, we're good. He's breaking it to the sideline. If that corner's getting depth because he's in zone and just letting the drag go and identify the next guy coming out, he's got to get skinny, right? He's got to get skinny. Anytime if we get split safeties, which one's not up here, if we got a wide pipe shot, we know that's where we're going immediately. All right? So again, you got to spend time coaching it. And it's not just like it's on a whiteboard. Like we do this religiously every day, and I'll show you some drills that we do to get us there. But this is our 4D concept. It's what we do. It's who we are. But one of the things that does give us problems with this, and I'll just give you guys a heads up, is so when are you open, right? I'm open now. Set it down. When we face outside backers that can match with our 2. With our slot in the middle. And when they can run with that, again, because we have lesser athletes, Trey, we had to tell you again, it's rare. But we're getting there, Coach Hoover, I promise. We're getting there. But yeah, when we got guys that can match up with him, that gives us instant problems. Here's the comeback, we sat down, he's keep everything in front, that's fine, we'll take what we can get. The hardest thing for us is getting our quarterback to get to that 3rd option. They want to go 2, 3, and then I don't know what they want to do. But they don't ever get the ball out, and that's the guy that's always open. Always, always, always. You have to rep it. It's just like the triple option. Get to the pitch phase of your triple. You got to get to the out phase of your 4D game. And so here's the 2 out. See, our 2's running out. We just tagged an out on this, so he's running a 10-yard out. And he carried him, and it worked out great for us. So that's literally all it is. We're just going deep, 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 and then one signal, boom, and we can change the whole play, and it looks like something completely different to the defense. That's how we're able to have those small call sheets like we were talking about earlier. Go ahead, Coach. Same thing, we're still 4 deep. When are you open? If I'm open now, give you the ball now. Open, give it to him. And it's tough because that quarterback, if we can get a precept and there's a lot of depth, we might not get a 3-step drop. It might be a catch and throw. But when are you open? I feel like every offense since all time has some type of vertical concept built into it. We finally get the comeback, and look what happens. We get 6. So it's just basically, giving your chance of kids to be efficient and effective without overthinking, right? But that's why we get paid the big bucks. We get paid the big bucks to think, right? Our kids just got to be able to read and react. With all that Fortnite stuff going on now, they're not going home and watching 5 hours of film, but we are. So you got to find a way to make it easy for them. Okay, counter. So I'm not going to beat this like a dead horse because Coach Keeper already labeled it up for us. But that's what we like to do. We like to run counter. You guys see Lincoln, we run counter 15 different ways. If we can get it to where we can sit there and we can handle the shade. If we get a center, they can block back on the 3, and we can run it to the shade. Now we can start high-hatting with our center right, get that DN into his rush lane, which is going to make it easier. Same concept as our for the tight end. It's going to allow us to trap him a lot easier with that pulling guard. So that's what we do, and it is who we are. That's what we hang our hat on. We play some good teams, and we can't pull those. We just got to pull the tag. Oh no! Did I add? I didn't put the wrong one, Coach. My bad. Technical difficulties. All right. So talking about thinking outside the box, right? And this is not me. There's no secrets in coaching. This is Patrick Taylor. And he got this from Hal Mummy, so it's not like it's anything revolutionary or groundbreaking that we're doing. But we do things different, right? We pride ourselves on pushing the envelope. So one of the things that you have to be able to do in this offense is you have to be able to coach the quarterback, right? One of the biggest things is when things go wrong in the fast process, right? Which is after the ball snapped and chaos breaks loose. When things go wrong in the fast process, 90% of the time it's because you didn't do your homework in the slow process, right? Something happened pre-snap that you missed, or somebody was somewhere that you didn't think they were, and then obviously chaos happens once the ball is set. So what we have to do is, kids don't learn, quarterbacks do not learn to be successful by looking at a chalkboard. You can't sit here and put X's and O's and give them a bird's eye view and then expect them to be successful. That's not how the game works. We're sitting here, we're teaching them in Spanish, and then we want them to go out and perform in English. And that's just not how it is. So one thing that we do is we do the tennis ball drill. And what it does is, again, back to pushing that line, flirting with the area of gray, right? Back before they pass the balls, being in the hands this past off season. Those short blossom guys, they're out there, they're running mesh with freaking golf balls, and they're getting those tight meshes. They're getting around the football rule. So how can we do it at the air raid level where teams that are pass heavy? And so the way we do that is we do this with the tennis ball drill. And so what we do is basically the quarterback has to see the windows open, right? He's got to see the people crossing in front of his face. And we're not sitting here, we're not repping mechanics, we're not talking about 3-step drop, we're not talking about any of that. We're talking about when is the guy open. It's all 4 birds. We can sit here and work all our attacks. When he's open, as soon as he's open, boom, tennis ball comes out. We're not coaching arm slot, we're not coaching depth, we're not talking any of that. We're talking about cognitive, reading defenses. When the windows flash open, ball comes out now. Right? That's what we're doing, that's what we're trying to instill. And then we find ways to incorporate the football into it. And this is something that you can do in your gym. You don't have to have a lot of space. Again, it's all about the quarterback. The toughest thing that you're going to have with this is convincing the other 14 guys, the 6 guys on offense and the 7 guys or 8 guys on defense, that you are helping the team out. Because for them, there's not a lot of benefit. For those receivers, there is, because we're still reading grass. Whenever you open, we're sitting it down. We're telling the defense to be about 50%. We're letting, sometimes, our defensive coordinator, we're in there, we'll let our inside linebackers go through our checks and sit there and throw wrinkles at us and go man. Again, and we'll line up in all kinds of crazy formations, quads, not quints, but we'll get them empty. If we're in empty, we got 4 deep. The running back's always dragging, so if we get instant pressure, we're throwing instantly. But we just run it as many different ways as we can. But I just want to implore you guys to, whatever you're doing, to find a way to think outside the box, right? We're ripping the running back out. He's open now, boom, ball in the window. All right? Same exact thing. It's all about the cognitive process, fast process. This kid right here is a 14-year-old freshman. Wasn't very good, but we're getting him there, right? We're not accepting. See, the window comes open, safety rolls down, boom, hit it. Right? We're not coaching drops. We're running drop back principles and it's taking 1 step. So obviously we're not sitting there coaching up the drop back right now.
When you're in that drill, are you calling the coverages you want, or is it just one base?
We do it both. We do it both ways, yes, sir. So when our head coach is in there and there's 2 of us, he usually manipulates the defense for me, which gives us a more realistic look. If we're having issues, get to the 3rd guy.
So they're not just getting the same read every day.
Correct, absolutely. And it helps when you got veteran defensive linebackers that can sit there and get you in checks and stuff, because we try to use their terminology to make it efficient, just like scouts and anything else. But it's just all about when do we know it's open, and boom, as soon as it does, we're good. All right, so one thing I want to do is I want to sit here and I want to challenge you guys to meet your guys where they're at. I'm going to tell you a little story. So these are all 4 quarterbacks that I've coached since being at Indy. This guy was one that we inherited, and he wasn't a really bright kid. And, you know, he was a great athlete, looked great individual, right? Balls looked great. Then you get the fast process, and oh no, what's going on? Like, this isn't what we just watched. And so, coaching him was a lot different than coaching him. And this guy was his backup and running board option. You know, I'm from Eastern NC. We're pull pitching. We're really hard on our freaking running back, our quarterbacks. So I got the hand shield, and you know we had a pull, and he gave it, and I just rocked our quarterback. Right? Let's get tough. Well, he sprained his ankle, and he was terrible. So you know, it's all about growing as a coach and getting better. You know, sometimes you think you're being a hard nose and a hard ass and things like that, but that's not necessarily what your kids need. This kid right here wasn't very good. He's a freshman, came in saying all the right things. Oh, we're going to go 10-0, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. QB lingo, right? He's a leadership by talking because of the position he played, but he hadn't earned any respect. And so, you know, just coaching him, you know, hard, and the light bulb went off, you know, about 4th game of the season. I was like, well, maybe we shouldn't be talking about going undefeated, and we should talk about scoring our first JV touchdown. That'd be really nice. And then a little bit later in the season, he came off the field after throwing a 6th interception. And he's just like, Coach, I'm so sorry to say ADHD bullshit again. And I was like, okay, maybe I should change the way I talk to our quarterbacks because now he's reciting to me the lingo that I'm giving to him. So I just want to challenge you guys, obviously, to meet them where they're at and not necessarily have concepts of preconceived notions of what you think they should be. And I think that, you know, what all great coaches do, they get the most out of their players, right? And that's what we're supposed to do. And you know, his home life's not the same as his home life, it's not the same as his home life, it's not the same as his. And everybody's different, and you just got to find a way to meet those kids where they're at. This is it, my information, my card. I'm willing to give you anything you want, there's no secrets. You know, I mean, we try to keep our roots in Eastern NC. There's not a lot of people in the city that necessarily like us too much, but that's fine, because every time Butler plays Scotland County, we just hit up Coach Bailey and, you know, the Charlotte teams. But anything you want to come meet, you want to sit down, you want to talk, I'm always down to get better. I don't think I'm better than anybody. You know, I've sat in clinics all my life. And one of the cool things about the Harbaugh clinic was when my man, who was the head coach at Virginia Tech? Frank Beamer. Yeah, when Beamer got up to speak, he was going over special teams, right? My man, Jim Harbaugh, was sitting right here in this chair, notepad out, taking notes the whole time. And I just want to encourage you guys, keep doing what you're doing. You're here for a reason, right? Because you want to get better. You haven't attained the status that you want. There's always ways to get better and help your kids out, and help yourself out, and help your program out, your community. And you guys are doing it the right way. And I just want to reinforce what you guys are doing. And just keep it up, man. Keep it up. We're really lucky to have coaches that care like you guys. Does anybody have any questions or anything you want to talk about? Or no? Good? All right, hit me up, and I look forward to talking more with you guys soon.
Yeah.